I go away for 2 episodes. I come back and we're in a cupboard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We ran a 48-hour competition on our Silverstone podcast where you could win a pair of Formula 1 2018 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix tickets. And the winner is Afterburner. The Silverstone podcast video itself is no longer live, but if you wish to listen to it, then head to our audio versions over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audio Boom, or Google Podcasts, which means we're now available for Android users too. Links in the description.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the WTF1 podcast. It's episode number 11, and you're probably wondering what on earth we're doing in what looks like a storage cupboard. It is a storage cupboard. We're in a transitional phase between 2 offices, and we thought we'd come and have a little chill in here. So, Jess, you're back.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks.
You've clearly missed us.
I have. I went away for 2 races and all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
And
I bet you were sat there watching going, I want to say so many things.
I was so gutted. I was genuinely gutted because we'd had kind of a run of staler races, not much going on. And then all of a sudden, I mean, everything happened.
Yeah. It did.
Including, were you just trying not to tap the table?
Yeah, I just kind of just lifted my arms up as I saw the table start to shake. I was like, that's not good.
That was a really strange motion going on.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, I'm back now, and
you are back.
I mean, still hell broke loose.
It did.
But in a different way.
To be continued. And Tommy, you're obviously a resident member of the podcast.
Yeah,
you don't go on holiday. And unfortunately, we're missing Ali.
I'm committed.
Ali's unwell, and so he'll be coming back soon. So
Get well soon,
Ali.
Get well soon.
So let's dive in straight to the 3-word race review, shall we? Have you
Yeah.
thought about it? The eyes were, I've not thought about this. So, Jess, have you thought about yours?
I have.
Okay, you go first.
So my 3-word race review is Mercedes communication chaos.
Ooh, that's a lot of letters.
Yeah, but
Nice.
3 words.
That is 3 words.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just, I don't know what's going on at Mercedes. It's all a bit strange. They can't quite nail the right strategy. I mean, they got 1-2. But that wasn't through a smooth process.
That's more luck than
that
anything,
was
wasn't it?
a lot of, and ultimately, I mean, we're going to touch on it a little bit later, but Lewis disobeying team orders and Bottas obeying team orders. So, but I mean, there was just a number of things that came up, like Bottas's pit stop. They weren't ready with the right tyres.
That was,
which, you know, that is that guy ever going to get a break? I don't think he's never going to get a break. But so, I mean, that was a massive blow to his race. And then the whole, I mean, we're diving straight in now.
We're head first.
I have no idea what the thing was about.
Gotcha.
So it was a bit. I don't like. Has anyone worked out what was actually happening?
Because he said, the guy said, stay out, and then said in. So I assume that in was that he wanted to come back in, even though he'd already made the move to go out. Is that your understanding of it?
I've watched it so many times, and I have no idea what he
I've
was
not
trying
read anything
for
like what they actually wanted him to do.
So I think they wanted him to box. I think they wanted him to come in.
Well, they did originally,
Yeah, but they saw. I think Lewis saw that Kimi wasn't pitting, and played in his mind. I'm never going to catch back up if I pit now. So I'm staying out.
I found the safety car though.
But it was weird because Kimi was
So
Kimi stayed out. He said that on the radio, and then the engineer said in.
Yeah. So he was meant to come back in. It was very weird.
Baffled,
but maybe it was because they messed Bottas's tyres up, so they knew Hamilton would have to queue for quite a long time behind Bottas while they were faffing about with his tyres.
Don't come in. So
it's really confusing.
To me, it looked like Lewis made the decision to stay out.
Yeah, I think so. Which ultimately won him the race.
Yeah,
so, exactly.
So
but you know, when are Mercedes going to get their strategy behind the safety car right? They just cannot seem to know. Like they don't know what to do. They just kind of go.
I think we need to do an F101 on the safety car, so then they understand. Watch and then learn.
We're going to send it to Mercedes.
Yeah, guys.
Big bold claims there.
Yeah.
Hey guys, maybe you should watch this.
Yeah. Just a quick one. Tommy, 3-word race review from you, please, sir.
Finally, some rain. There we go.
Cool.
Just the fact that finally there was some rain, and I can't remember how many races now where while it happened in Germany a little bit, and it chucked it down at the end of the race. But there's been so many races this year where raining 5 minutes, raining 5 minutes, raining 5 minutes, and then it throws it down on the podium. And actually, we at least got a little bit of it during the race, and it spiced it up.
Yeah, it definitely did. And Ali, who couldn't be here today, had his 3-word race review, which he sent in, which was, "Where was Charles?"
Oh, of course he did.
I hate you. But I guess he would obviously say, "Where was Charles?" And then in fact, Brendan got points, or a point. Charles didn't have a great race, did he?
No.
No, he was a bit erratic and had a lot of incidents. The spin, he went off as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Beautiful spin though.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
it was gorgeous. It looked like he was playing an F1 game. Just slammed on the brakes and just turned back round and just carried on.
Style points. Yeah.
It was crazy. And mine. Snooze, then intense.
Nice.
Could have gone for better than that, but that's what I just had on the top of my head. Because it was a tale of two halves. Again, like, it seems like that's been a lot this year, where it's been very much like, this race is boring, and then it just absolutely kicks off out of nowhere. I was just laying there going, oh my goodness me, like what is actually, there's nothing happening. And then it all just kicked off. The rain obviously had a big part in that. And let's have some 3-word race review from fans. Finish on fire from Adrian_Elbaz.
That finish as in the race finish, or finish as in...
Finish with one N, so not the finish.
Because they were on fire, but had both of their races
extinguished,
potentially put out by their teams.
Shocking.
Strange thing, because I think a lot of people have talked about like the Raikkonen undercut on Vettel and how that put him in the lead and was the better strategy. Obviously, Vettel could go faster.
Yeah.
But he put, in terms of track position, he put himself straight in the right spot. But then
definitely
Ferrari were like, no, none of that. And I mean, what a strange message.
It was odd. It's almost like, we don't want to say Fernando is faster than you type message, but instead was just like, and then Kim was like, no, just tell me.
Yeah.
It was almost like a guy breaking up with a girl, but didn't really want to say anything. So like, no, just tell me what you were trying to say.
I couldn't decide though if it was whether he was he was doing that like, just say it out loud, or whether
that's what Kimi said. He said, just tell me.
Yeah, but what I am unsure about is whether he was saying it because he just wanted them to say it, or because he genuinely didn't understand what they were saying, because all they were talking about were tyre strategies. We all knew what they were saying.
It's so stupid.
Jock just came on the radio and went, you're on different tyre strategies, don't hurt Vettel's race.
Yeah.
So was Kimi like, do you want me to go faster?
Yeah.
Because I can go faster?
Yeah.
So unexpected from Ferrari as well, who you mentioned it in... Yeah. No, not the process of them having team orders. The fact that they didn't just go, Kimi, get out of the way.
Yeah.
Because we've said it before, and you said it before, Ferrari are ruthless. We mentioned it in Austria. Like, they just need to go... Their advantage is that they do that. And they can just say, look, Vettel needs the points, get out of the way, done.
Yeah.
But they faffed about for so long. I know Crofty tried to make a point that, if Vettel, his tyres would have saved, he might not have gone off later, which I think is a load of rubbish.
That's not true.
But, that's just Crofty making pointless analysis.
But the fact that, it just took so long was really weird from Ferrari. Just say it.
Yeah. And I'm surprised they didn't say it 10 laps before.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it was so long, wasn't it?
Because they speak about it all the time, how a car can be affected by the weight 5-6 seconds behind another car. So Vettel was being affected for a very long time.
How many times did he lock up?
Exactly. And I think I said to you when we were watching the race, like, if he locks up any more, he's going to put himself onto a two-stop, and he's going to be essentially behind Kimi. And I think that, it was weird. It was almost like Ferrari were in two minds. Like, do we let Kimi stay out and it was so odd, especially with Hamilton closing in as well, rain looming. Like, Kimi was essentially in a first place net, which I said in IBR, was that they very much did put themselves in that situation where Kimi could legitimately win the race. So I think it was just indecisiveness from them in the end. I think it was maybe there was some higher ups saying, what, we've done this before, we've done this team thing before, and it went tits up, didn't it? Like, with the whole Fernando's faster than you became a meme and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe there was an element of that as well with that, because that's why I think there was, because of the way in which they were saying it to him eventually. Like, you're on differing strategies, so do you want to just maybe don't affect Vettel? It was so, I was like, everyone was sat there like, just say it.
Yeah. That's the funny thing that Kimi actually said. Kimi said, just tell me.
Twice.
Yeah. Like,
He
so
knew.
are you telling
He
me
knew.
to let me through?
He's
Just
a racing
tell me.
driver.
Yeah.
He knew. But okay, moving on. At Terza, rain too late? No, I mean, obviously, it absolutely hooned it down at the end when it was the podium ceremony. But at the same time, it would have been great to have 2 laps of maybe that. But any more of that, it would have red flagged the race and it would have been over.
The videos of the whole track being flooded at the end, it would have been a red flag.
All the garages were flooded.
Yeah.
You know, they were like when they were packing down, they were told they couldn't. They had to get out because it was actually unsafe for them to be in the garages, which is just that's an incredible amount of rain to fall in a short space of time. So, I mean, I think it would have been nice to maybe had them put on at least intermediates. Obviously, we did have some cars put on intermediates.
Full wets as well.
And full wets. Gasly. I mean, I guess they didn't really have that much to lose, but it was a bit of an odd call considering there were plenty of cars out on slicks, and we did have spins, but it wasn't quite wet enough. There wasn't like full on. The racing line still looked pretty dry. Definitely. So full wets was an odd choice.
I think from that, just quickly, I think for them, they've obviously looked at the showers coming in and they've probably anticipated the rain that came at the end of the race. Because if Gasly's on full wets and that rain that at the end of the race or at the race during the podium ceremony happens, Gasly's probably leading at that stage. So
could you imagine that would have been such
like a Marcus Winkelhock moment from whenever it was like 10, 11 years ago when he Nürburgring.
Nürburgring. Oh yeah, it was Nürburgring. Yeah. But
I think someone asked about was it a stupid decision from Gasly and everyone else to pit, but we were saying that actually, you know, of course they're going to gamble, and especially Verstappen, because of that huge gap between the two, the essentially Formula A and Formula B now everyone's referring to, he could pit for Inters, go back, and he's still going to keep 4th, so it doesn't really matter.
Some other 3-word race reviews. We're kind of like diving into different topics at different times. It's fine. It's just chill. At Richteran, I'm in tears. I'm assuming he's a Vettel fan. At Jocker_Per, Ericsson beat Leclerc. Okay, thanks for rubbing that one in. At _Nahan_Ismail_ Heartbreak for Vettel. So there's a variety of 3-word race reviews, which is great. It just shows that there was a really good race going on.
It was a weekend of heartbreaks. It was. I mean,
Hamilton crying in qualifying. Pretty much.
I mean, what a seesaw of emotions for both drivers. It was literally like, I think we put a post out about it, but it was literally the roles were reversed completely. And like the mirroring images of Hamilton on his knees by his car crying his eyes out in his helmet versus Vettel like P1 in my home circuit, which is another thing as well. Like something that has really hit me in terms of the psychological drama of this season is we saw how upset Hamilton was that he didn't win at Silverstone. You can tell like that. I think out of all the races, that's the number one he wants
Best
to win.
fans.
Hashtag. And Vettel's never won.
Yeah, he'd never won Hockenheim, has he?
No.
So, and it was his to lose, and he lost it. And I think as he said after the race, it wasn't like he did anything majorly wrong.
Yeah.
He was just literally he was in the worst position at that point in the race was P1. Because you're feeling out the track.
Definitely.
And pushing the limits, and unfortunately the rain gods did not smile on him and he lost the car. But I mean, geez, if you ever wanted more pulling on your heartstrings, I think that was the weekend of everything. But interestingly that Vettel grabbed the home win from Hamilton, and then Hamilton grabbed the home win from him.
It's huge.
The race, the next race, it's crazy.
Absolutely huge. Let's cast our minds back to the start of the race, because I think one talking point was the fact that even though Hamilton and Ricciardo were starting so far back, for me personally, I don't know about you guys, it wasn't that exciting. No. Even though Hamilton was flying through the field, it was made so easy for him. And it was another comment I made in IBR was that these teams, and it's to do with Formula A, Formula B, there's no point in them fighting a Mercedes or even a Red Bull potentially, because they don't have the pace, and it's just ruining their own race.
Yeah, we watched the race together, didn't we? And we were looking at the gaps at one point. I can't remember what distance they're in, and it was like 3 seconds, 3 seconds,
it was like
3
10 laps,
seconds.
it was like 60 seconds.
And then it was like 60 seconds, and that was the Verstappen to Magnussen gap, and then they were already close. It literally is like A and B.
The fact Verstappen could risk going on to intermediates, come back into the pits after it not working out, and still be in fifth.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, he wasn't
fine.
fourth, but Hamilton would have got him. It's ridiculous.
And the fact that Hamilton was a minute ahead of Magnussen when he started behind him, like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's quite
But
horrible.
interestingly, I don't know if you picked up on this as well, like Ricciardo didn't move that far at the pack.
No, I don't know if you saw his interview or not, but he mentioned that he started on the mediums,
Okay.
and apparently like when he just released the clutch, he just went nowhere. Like I think he lost a position at the start, and
Yeah,
he
he
was
did.
like 19th or something. But he was just saying how the car had absolutely no pace on the mediums, and
That's
he just
crazy.
couldn't get up to temperature, couldn't get up to speed, and
Yeah.
and that was a factor. And then obviously his car broke as well, so it didn't really help. But yeah, I think it was just a poor call from Red Bull to go on the mediums. I don't think they'd done much running at all on them. They
Yeah,
just wanted
odd.
to try something different. And
Maybe
it
they
didn't
were
work out.
they going for the one stop? They were just
Yeah,
trying
I
to get
would
to the end of the
imagine
race,
so.
right?
They probably
Or to the rain or something.
They were probably trying
Yeah.
to push for the rain, but it just didn't work out, and
Yeah.
obviously he had some ailments before he retired as well.
Yeah.
So Vettel mistake. Oh my goodness me, Sebastian Vettel. What?
Wow.
happened? I mean, you mentioned Jess about the fact it was a very small mistake, and
Yeah.
watching the replay, you could just tell. Like as soon as he braked, he was like, "Oh no!"
It's such a small mistake for, like, he's so unlucky that it's the corner where there's a gravel trap and a really close wall. If you
Yeah.
think how many other bits of the track he
That
could
he
have
could have
made
run
that
wide.
little run wide and gone onto a massive runoff area, so unfortunate.
Yeah, it was. And I felt actually really sorry for him. I genuinely
Yeah.
felt my heart bled for him, especially when you like all the grandstand just like were cheering. I was
In
like,
his home race, yeah.
this is the German Grand Prix.
Yeah.
I had to really kind of listen back and go, are they really booing him?
Yeah.
I thought they were cheering, weren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Not booing.
There was a big Verstappen grandstand at that corner.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And
And
there
then
were
there was also
Mercedes.
I saw like two Ferrari fans
Yeah.
with their hands in it, like,
Yeah.
and that was it. Like
It
everyone
was-
else was cheering.
Yeah.
It was so sad, and even his like team radio, you know, he was like properly. You could tell he was like choking up.
Yeah.
And seeing him hitting the steering wheel just wasn't a nice thing to watch.
No.
And
Yeah.
you don't want to see that. You don't want to see a championship decided
No.
on one very small mistake, which could have happened to anyone. And it was such bad fortune, really,
Yeah.
wasn't it? If
Mhm.
anything, it wasn't
Damn
a lack of
dramatic,
skill.
though.
Huh?
Damn dramatic though.
Yeah. Oh,
as
yeah.
as a neutral, but like if this goes down to the wire and it's like that, that'll be one of those moments where you're just like, whoa, that was crazy.
I think there were a lot of people saying that the German Grand Prix is potentially the pivotal moment of the entire season, because I think it's just, you know, Hamilton had the race of his life, as he's calling it, and Vettel had
Yeah.
potentially the biggest heartbreak. So it just reminds me of Singapore and
Singapore,
Suzuka last year, when it was just like that was it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe we'll be surprised, maybe
Could
it
go the
won't
other
do
way and
anything,
then, yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
psychologically I think that was a pivotal moment.
The fact that he had it in his hands as well, yeah.
I think for me, if it had been the other way around and Hamilton was the one to have crashed out and Vettel had won, I think it would have had more of an impact on Lewis, who's does seem as a driver more emotionally driven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Vettel, on the other hand, you know, even being interviewed after the race, he was almost seemed like he was at peace with it there and then. Like, I don't think it'll affect him moving forward. Because obviously the issues last year after Singapore was mainly down to Ferrari just messing up and the cars braking and etc. There's a question in actually from @Sid_Tanwar101. How chilled Vettel was compared to, oh my god, all is lost reaction by Hamilton when they both suffer problems, which I guess ties in with the whole emotionally driven stuff. But I think it wouldn't really affect either driver in that sense. I think Hamilton would obviously be more affected by it, but I think that would fuel him more moving forward if he was the one to have crashed out anyway.
I think the opposite. I think this win will have had such a big impact on him emotionally, because I genuinely felt like he was just going down and down and down and down, and with every mistake he made, I mean, you could see it in qualifying. He was it just looked like he was.
It was really weird as well, like in his Instagram story, like that just weird, like going on Instagram and writing all this stuff about people that don't like you and stuff. It's like, you're a celebrity, it's going to happen. There's going to be people that don't like you, there's going to be people that like you. He just needs to sort of tone down his emotions a bit, because I don't think it's
But
the best approach.
I think that's why. I mean, obviously he's a massively what's the word? He divides the entire F1 community.
Yeah.
But I do think that is why he has such a passionate following, his team LH feel like they feel every single emotion, feeling. They feel like they share that with him, and I think that's why they are so passionate. And equally on the same foot, that's why people are fed up with him, because he usually gets hot-headed, or he says the wrong thing, or he does stuff that's like, oh, just stop whinging about it and get on and race. Whereas Vettel's very collected, calm. Obviously, he's not even on social media.
I wonder if that's his approach to the title this year. Obviously, he had the thing in 2016 where he was raging so much at certain things. Maybe that is his approach this year, that he's gone, if I just stay calm, cool and collected, and all the pressure builds on Hamilton every time he has a bad race and he gets this big media backlash, maybe that's the...
Maybe but this was like actually the worst case scenario for Vettel, because now Hamilton's got wind in his sails, and he you could tell after that it was everything that he needed to pull him back and remind him why he's a 4-time world champion. And so, maybe, so much has happened already in this season that I don't feel like we can confidently say either way, but like based on previous things and based on what he was saying and talking about after that race, I think this
love conquers all.
This is gonna this maybe it is actually like he's switched up a gear now.
I think just going back to Vettel's mindset, I still don't think it will affect him too much, purely because as you mentioned, this season has been mental as it is. It's toed and froed so many times that Vettel will be like, oh, it might happen next week. Or, with Hamilton. So I don't, as you can't call this season at all. No one wants to win it. If one of the drivers hadn't made any mistakes and the other one had, Vettel could easily be 50, 60 points ahead of Hamilton.
That would be so far ahead, It'd
be ridiculous. But instead, Hamilton's leading the championship, which still mind boggles me that he's leading the championship. And you have to say that Hamilton is usually unreal in the last few races, especially when he has something to fight for. So, apart from when he actually wins the championship, then he doesn't win anything. But so crazy. Let's actually move on to the team orders for Mercedes and how Hamilton actually won the race. A little bit controversial. We've got at the Underworld 90, Valtteri's misfortunes continue. At Ox Sebastian, Valtteri was robbed. At Alex_Ewan_Finn, Bottas should have won. I agree. I think Bottas should have won, and he was given one corner to have a go. I don't even think they gave it. I don't think they thought Bottas would get close, and that's why they didn't call him off from the get-go.
Toto Wolff came out saying that he wanted to call him off immediately.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that radio actually synced, because you never know, do you, like how the team radio is synced up?
Yeah.
And you can take it with a pinch of salt, whether when he came back at him at the hairpin and went alongside, he got the call there, whether he got it later.
I think he got it.
I think he dropped back off, didn't he?
It was when he dropped off.
About a second and a half.
I think
you
that's
could tell straight away,
Yeah. But I mean, it just shows you. I wonder how many other drivers would have done that, especially
Straight
when he
away.
knew. Yeah, and he just said like
Copy James,
and he just sat there in P2 and he went. I think
that's a new contract for you.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is the thing. Like,
for that.
F1 is such a political game. We've said this time and time again. Mercedes want to win both the drivers and the constructors' championship, and the best chance that they have to do that is with Lewis. And it's Hamilton and Vettel's fight.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Mercedes are going to put Mercedes first. Well, yeah, they're going to put Mercedes first, but that also means putting Hamilton first. And so, no, it's technically not fair, but if you're playing the game, that's the situation that you're in. And it's the exact same thing with Kimi.
Yeah.
Kimi's not going to win the world championship.
Get Kimi out the way, so obviously would be saying the same thing.
Bottas, I think you at the beginning of the season, I wasn't the biggest fan of Bottas, but he's done a lot more this season that shows why he did deserve that 1-year contract with a 1-year option.
Just in case they want to get rid of him.
But, he'll have his moment to shine. I'm in no doubt that he'll have his moment. It's just right now, it's Lewis's moment.
Imagine if he got him at the hairpin though, and then they had to make the call of, do we now call it off, or do we wait for Hamilton to get back past? That would have been so interesting. That
would have been really interesting. And obviously I've been a big sort of fan of Bottas this season and just his performances in general, but it kind of comes back to Bahrain and when he had that opportunity with Vettel, and then again that opportunity on Hamilton. Like you've got to think the amount of people that wouldn't have taken that outside line going into the hairpin for the cutback, which is a solid attempt at an overtake, but he didn't make it
Yeah.
Yeah,
again.
exactly, yeah.
And
And you just look at the world champions.
yeah,
Like
they're pushy.
they would have made it stick,
Like
probably.
Vettel's
I mean,
move.
this is the thing. Like, I feel like we spend a lot of the races going, yeah, but what if?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The fact is, he didn't.
exactly.
The fact is, he didn't make that move stick, and the fact is that Mercedes put the kibosh on him even having another attempt. So everyone could go, yeah, but if he'd have been allowed to race, Bottas would have got him. We don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day we'll find out, but right now, like,
2
we
years
just won't
time.
know. We
But
just don't know.
you just kind of have to take it back to his racecraft, though. Like, for me, obviously, it's easy to say as a couch person watching, but like when you think of just racing in general, Bottas has the fresher tyres. As there's a car outside just making some noise, wants to be in the podcast. You have to go up the inside at that corner because you've got fresher tyres. You're going to get probably equal traction to Lewis, who wants the cutback, and you've got the move done. But he goes for the outside, and it's just not pushy. It's not a champion in that car, and even against Vettel's not his teammate. He should have again maybe gone for the Bahrain move. It's easy to say as a couch potato, but it's those kind of moments that define a champion.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think Mercedes won't believe that, when Hamilton moves on, who do they want as a number one driver? I don't think it'll be Bottas.
No.
And that's
Which is why I
unfortunate.
think he's been given an option year.
Yeah.
He's essentially been given a 1-year contract.
Yeah, 100%.
And you've got one more season to prove why you deserve Lewis's seat. And so go do what you will with it. But you're right. I think those are the opportunities that they had. Because even if Mercedes did make the call, Bottas dropped back, he would have still had that evidence to go, yeah, but I still got him, didn't I?
Yeah.
And that is what he needs. That's the ultimate thing that he needs to prove to everybody.
And I don't think it's talent on the side of Bottas. I think it's just belief and just having a different personality in that sense. Like, he is very much. I think he's just happy to be racing for Mercedes. Like the fact, as quickly as he did copy James, there wasn't any. Give me a lap. Give me 2 laps. Give me something. It was just,
which is what Lewis and Vettel probably would have both
like,
said.
no, but I'm faster. I'm on quicker tyres. I could be overtaken from Raikkonen behind.
Even like
Look at Max.
the
Look at
stuff in
Max.
it when he was at Toro Rosso.
Yeah.
And that you could argue doesn't even matter. And he was there going, no, I'm not going to. And immediately you're like, that is a guy that they're going to make a number one driver because, whether it's not sporting, but the fact is all the top drivers and world champions do that.
Alonso. I mean,
Alonso, yeah.
the Bull's probably like the guy that gives the least crap about team orders or whatever. Like, he's just there to race.
Exactly.
And all of those guys are, so yeah.
Just quickly, both of you answer this question. So at Dolberg says, Toto also said that the same would have been done if Bottas had the lead. Do you believe that? Do you believe Mercedes would have allowed Bottas to win the race and for them to hold station?
Thing is, so this is the other thing that I was thinking about as well. F1 is also a massive PR machine, and the story of Lewis going from 14th to 1st is hugely more PRable than 14th to 2nd.
Yeah.
So I reckon they wanted that glory story as much as they wanted the 1-2 or whatever, like, or Lewis to take it to Vettel and take the lead. I think it's the PR train that they were getting on, and they're not stupid. They will get headlines everywhere.
You've got to think that it's 1-2 in the home Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Imagine if Bottas had taken him out when Vettel is in the gravel. That's their chance to capitalise and get the constructors and the drivers' title back, and they binned it. Then there'd be the call exactly like Baku and Red Bull, where they said, "Why didn't you call this off?" It's all hindsight, isn't it?
But just quickly, do you think if Bottas had taken the lead, what would Mercedes have done?
Switched him.
You think they would have switched him?
Switched. I think
You
they
don't
would have
think they
switched
would
him.
No.
They definitely would.
No, because do you not remember Hungary where they switched
Bottas
and then
Hamilton,
they let and that I was completely shocked by that. I couldn't believe that actually happened when the title was going. That they in Hungary where Hamilton had a go at overtaking, didn't, and they swapped him
I
back.
think that was more though a deal that Hamilton struck with the team rather than the team telling him to. So like Hamilton's like, if I do it, I will let him back through. If I don't, I'll let him back through. So he almost signed his own contract in that sense. Like,
there was so much more to gain from Lewis winning that race than in that instance. I think. So I just think they would have switched.
And you don't. Let us know in the comment section what you think. Would they have switched? We want to hear your opinions because we're only 3 people.
Or let us know
on
if you're listening on the audio version. Tweet us and let us know what you think at WTF1 Official.
Nice, cool. Hamilton's pit stop though.
Yeah.
He almost didn't have a 1-2. Well, he did. We would have maybe. They maybe would have 5 second penalty. Anyway, Hamilton's pit stop. Not a pit stop. What was it? What happened? Like,
Weird
actually,
one.
let's ask a question. At HusX2, was the Mercedes radio message to Lewis during the safety car the worst piece of team communication in the history of sport? Obviously,
Basically
we've
touched on
touched on that at the start.
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it? It was
Just all over the place.
He was so urgent and like.
And he just lost at the end of it. He wasn't even talking English.
No,
he
they
was just making noises.
They didn't have a clue, did they?
No. And I think, it was just appalling, really. I mean,
it was dreadful.
obviously, it's kind of heat of the moment. I think as soon as there's rain, I think all teams are on panic stations
But you
anyway.
never heard that in the team radio. have you?
Never in my
From
life.
a team like Mercedes, we're not even talking like Haas or Force India or whatever. Haas, sorry. Where they're a bit more inexperienced.
I wonder as well, like whether Lewis has lost so much trust in them being able to call the right strategy that that's
Potentially
why
just makes
he
his own-
was like,
It's like the
this is the
opposite
wrong
to-
choice. I'm staying out.
Yeah, it's like the opposite to Vettel, isn't it? Do you remember last year when Ferrari bottled so many strategies that Vettel was almost making them up? As
Exactly.
He went along and he was
was
actually
telling
contradicting
them.
them. He was like, I'm going to pick this lap, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think maybe that was. I mean, it still doesn't quite. I can't believe he pulled in, because he would have been able to see if Raikkonen had gone in.
I think that was
Surely.
him
Trusting his team,
I
yeah.
think he was naturally reacting to being told to
But then
come
he
in.
was like, no.
And then he was like, wait, can we stay? And that was like the sort of coin
Yeah.
to drop in. He was like, oh,
He
actually.
just chased him.
Yeah.
But obviously the biggest controversial thing about that was, did that break regulations?
And in the end, it did, but not in a sense of being given a penalty, because people are like, oh, what about Baku? But for people that haven't seen it, there was an actual statement saying that you're not allowed to cross the...
In the event notes.
The Baku incident that everyone's talking about is from 2016.
Yeah.
And Kimi Räikkönen is going down the main straight, and if you know the Baku pit lane, it's quite a sharp sort of left at full speed, and he's getting the slipstream from another car, and the argument for that is if that car hits the brakes, it's a plane crash, basically. So they set something before the start of that race to say, you're not allowed to do this. Whereas this incident, there are no rules, and I think that's the most frustrating thing.
And I don't think he deserved the penalty in that you kind of got to get some kind of human common sense in these scenarios where it was completely mental, and it would have been shame for the race, which was so good, to be decided after the race.
Why couldn't they have decided it straight away?
Yeah.
This is the annoying thing.
They should be.
There needs to be a rule. This is the rule. Like,
Penalty.
if a ball goes out in football, it's a throw-in. It's not. Oh, it could be a free kick. It could be a throw-in. It could be a penalty. Like, they need to just write a rule, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Because then they can decide. Because, like you say, it's a shame if everyone goes home. You've seen Hamilton do this epic drive, and then they go, actually, no,
Bottas
he didn't
won.
win. Bottas won, and then Bottas can't celebrate his first win of the year, and it's just
But I think
article.
the problem is that, and again, we've kind of touched, I mean, everyone compares F1 to football, but I think that's a really lazy analogy, because there are nowhere near as many variables in football
Wrecked.
as there are in Formula One. And so the reason it's frustrating, and I felt everyone's frustrations, because I was sat there on Twitter like refreshing over and over and over and over, trying to find out if he was going to get given a penalty or not.
Yeah.
But the reason, so Charlie Whiting came out and gave a statement that basically said the decision was made to cool off. Everybody has to cool off for them to be able to have a rational discussion about why what happened occurred. I think you could tell that the emotions were higher at Mercedes, so for them to get like a rational explanation out of them, because the thing is that they do give the teams and the drivers the opportunity to explain why the hell did they do that. And obviously the decision was then made that a reprimand was fine, because he technically, although it was a strange manoeuvre, it caused no safety concern, and it was under
Literally
a safety car,
realistically.
which is, and again, like it was what we were touching on back when we were discussing, and when you guys were discussing why did one driver get a 10-second penalty when the other driver got a 5-second penalty. There is that element of common sense that is applied, that they have a list of, right, these are all the punishments that you can give. You have to decide which one is more fitting based on the gravity of the situation. And, we kind of toot and froed about whether it should just be a carte blanche. You're not allowed to do that, which probably should be the case, and I do agree with you there, Tommy, because then the drivers don't know what they can do.
It'd be quite easy just to be like, once you're in that pit, and then the argument is as well. So like Hamilton wasn't actually in the pits because he hadn't crossed the pit line yet. So you say, well, is that bit fine, or is it as soon as you get into the actual pit lane and the line? You just need a set rule that's like, once you've committed to that, you have to come in.
Yeah. So once you've left track, I guess, does that technically count as track limits?
Well, yeah, because you could say he cut the corner.
Yeah.
But
he didn't get. But the rule is that you don't gain an advantage, and in a safety car, obviously, you can't anyway. So this is what I mean about all the variables. There's just so much.
Some of the arguments that I've seen is, well, everyone could just dummy each other into the pits, and then it would get ridiculous and dangerous and stuff. And I understand that point. While it's maybe a bit silly that would ever happen, I don't think any team would ever do it.
Yeah,
I reckon you would get a ton of drivers dummying.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I guess that's on racetrack and it's a different case, but I think, anywhere or anyhow that a driver is going to gain advantage, they'll take it.
Oh, yeah. But it wasn't deemed that way.
No.
And I think you two have just highlighted how difficult the job of a steward is.
Because there are no rules.
Because, especially when it's not a completely black and white rule, there is that debate. How do you make a choice? And how do you make a choice within 3 minutes or whatever? And I can understand why it would take that long, but it also, again, it kind of ruins the whole spectacle if someone's won the race and then it gets taken away from them.
It gets seriously toxic there.
So, was it a penalty, Jess? Yes or no? That's what I want.
Technically, no. As it was decided.
Technically, no.
Should it have been a penalty?
Just want a yes or no?
Maybe.
That's not yes or no.
It's so hard. I'm so on the fence with this because if he'd got a 5-second penalty, I'd have been like, okay, fair enough. It was a bit of a breach.
Yeah.
But also at the same time,
did you see on? I think it was on Twitter or someone was talking about how Mercedes thought that Hamilton would get a penalty, but they didn't want Hamilton to be further than 5 seconds ahead of Bottas. Otherwise, the stewards would maybe have given him even more of a penalty and then fallen behind Raikkonen. And so that's why it was 4.5 seconds that Hamilton pushed out to Bottas, so that he would lose the position to Bottas, but no one else. So Mercedes would still get a 1-2. That's the theory that people have been putting out there, which makes a lot of sense.
That's what makes F1 so great, that these teams are always thinking about these things, and that's pretty clever, actually.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think it was a penalty?
I feel like...
Yes or no, Matty?
Yeah, Matty, yes or no? Come on.
It's weird because I said no. But then when you say that if he was to be given a 5-second penalty, I'd be like, okay, I understand that. So, should it have been a penalty? Yes, I think it should have been a penalty. After talking about it,
Such a Bottas
at the beginning,
fanboy.
I know, I love Bottas. Bottas the bottle job. I love it. But yeah, I can see both arguments. I was saying no originally, and now I'm like, actually, maybe yeah. So anyway, moving on. Driver of the day. Tell me.
There's Hamilton.
Yeah, there's Hamilton.
Yeah, there are some good drives. If you had to pick someone else other than Hamilton, probably Grosjean.
He came back through after.
Yeah,
he was like in 6th, and then he dropped down again, and then he was back up again.
It was watching some stuff that he went from 10th to 6th in the last 5 laps.
Yeah. Did we see any of that? No, we didn't see any of that, did we?
Great camera work there.
But was that because everybody was just losing their shit on because of the rain?
Yeah, like he had fresher tyres, but some of his moves were really good.
Yeah, it must have been.
He was 2 seconds a lot quicker than everyone else around him.
To get up that many positions in 5 laps, he's making the moves. So Grosjean didn't crash and he finished 6th.
Well done, Grosjean.
I mean, he's just such a flippant driver, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just finish. Like, do you know what? I don't know. And just quick, I cannot listen to another one of it. I know Lewis complains on the radio all the time, and I'm equally sick of Lewis complaining on the radio. But it's kind of becoming a bit of a meme that whenever like the safety car comes out, Lewis is going to be on the radio going like, "Why didn't I get that strategy?" But Grosjean, get over yourself. He overtook you.
That's the thumbnail.
Yeah. Every time he gets overtaken, he's like, "Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was so unfair. He pushed me off." And it's just like, that's racing.
Yeah.
Either get better at defending, or just get over it and take him again. Like if you
Cop's called.
Oh, that's the Grosjean police. They're coming to get me. But yeah, I just.
Wow.
And that sums
That's
up
quite a
Grosjean.
run.
Yeah.
My driver of the day is Charles. No, it's Lewis Hamilton. Has to be. Charles had a terrible day. Next time out, he'll be amazing. Obviously, Ali's would be Brendan Hartley for getting a point.
Ali's
so shout out
must
to
be
him.
gutted that Hartley got a point and Charles had a terrible race. He would have been.
Yeah, he actually
laying
texted me
into
saying that. He was like, "I'm so angry that I'm not going to be on the
Oh.
podcast when Brendan actually had a good race and Charles had a terrible one."
Bless him.
But
Why does that happen with all of us?
What?
Yeah.
Whenever
Whenever Ali or I have been away, we've always had like the most to talk about.
So if I'm ever away, Charles will win.
Yeah. So you just need to piss off then, don't you?
Charles becomes
Jess is the new host.
becomes world champion somehow.
Yeah. So predictions for Hungary. We're doing the predictions slightly different for this podcast. I want you to give me a winner, and then tell me something very specific that's going to happen for the Hungarian Grand Prix. So Tommy, you actually came up with this format, so I'm going to make you go first. Winner, and then something very specific.
The winner will be Max Verstappen because it's
Yep.
Hungary. Yeah.
Yep.
And the random prediction, I'm going to go with there won't be a single on-track overtake during the race.
That's also very believable. So nice. I enjoyed that. Jess.
I'd love to see Ricardo win again.
Yep. Love
But-
to see
Will
or
he?
think he's going
But
to.
will he?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to say I think Ricardo's going to win.
Okay.
Although his reliability does not fill me with confidence, really.
So he's going to win on fire, crossing the line.
Yeah,
There's your prediction.
that's my prediction.
Oh my god. If
So
that happens.
that's I'm going to give like two random ones. One, Ricardo will win literally on fire.
Right.
Two, I think at least one of the commentators are going to refer to Budapest as Budapest.
Crofty.
Why does anyone say Budapest?
Because that is the local.
Is that technically
It's
how it's
closer
called?
to the
Okay.
local
All right, I'll let
pronunciation.
him off.
It's like
Um,
Kvyat when Crofty always goes Kvyat.
Yeah,
Yeah, like,
I mean,
just-
Kvyat was a very difficult name to pronounce, and I think there's 10 different versions of that. And my winner is Kimi Räikkönen. Kimi had some
Whoa.
good pace last year, and Vettel, although Vettel did have some ailments, but Kimi was.
Surely the only way that's going to happen is if Vettel crashes out again. Do you think Vettel's going to crash
And
out?
something very specific.
There we go.
Oh gosh, I was going to say Vettel will get a stomach ache and not participate in the race, but I don't think that will
Wow.
happen. But he wasn't very well, was it? No, it was Hamilton.
No,
wasn't
Hamilton
very well.
wasn't very well.
Okay,
And he won the race, so.
let's go with. Oh gosh, I was going to say something about Charles, but I know you have a go at me for saying about Charles because Charles is great. Okay,
Charles
I'm going
gets
to
to Q3 again.
I'm going to go with Hulkenberg.
Oh,
Will get a podium.
finally.
Wow, that is bold.
I don't know how.
That is bold.
There's been some kind of explosion somewhere, but yes.
So I've
Hulkenberg
gone
will
no
podium.
overtakes, you've gone Hulkenberg podium, and Jess has gone Ricardo on fire. This should be an interesting race.
Let us know your one crazy prediction, and then also who you think is going to win next time out. I'm
Yeah.
sure I'd be very interested to see what
Yeah,
your
I'm looking forward
crazy
to reading
predictions are. And that is it. That is the WTF1 podcast, episode 11.
WTF1 cupboard.
Have you
podcast.
enjoyed this very, very warm cupboard?
It's so warm.
So warm, but
Yeah.
It's
That's
like a
just what we gotta
sauna
do.
in here.
Yes. It is like a sauna.
it is a sauna. Thank you very much for watching. Am I outroing to that one, Jack? That? Okay, he doesn't know. I'm going to outro to both. Thank you very much for watching the WTF1 podcast.
Have fun editing that one,
enjoy
Jack.
editing that one. And we'll see you next time in a week's time for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.